episode of Question Quest. Thank you for joining us.
Hi.
My question I'm going to present with you today. This should be a fun one. This is something that's going to take us all throughout time.
Okay. I like time.
So if you could live in any period of human history, which do you choose?
Good classic question. Okay. So there's a lot of ground to cover. There's a lot of factors that go into when and where you'd want to live. Instantly, my mind started thinking of a Spartan. I wouldn't want to be a Spartan, but ancient Greece is...
Yeah, ancient Greece would be pretty cool, just like off the rip. Like off the
top of my head.
Top of the head, yeah.
Ancient Greece is because of the culture, the mythology. It's like the foundations of Western civilization and its philosophy. So that's a starting place. What's your initial instinct?
Yeah, ancient Greece is a high one. Anything that's in the BC era would be cool, just because we know very little about them. Like Egypt would be really dope, especially like before the burning of Alexandria, or the Library of Alexandria.
Yeah,
that would be a hoot.
That would be a hoot and a holler, man.
We would learn all the secrets of the world if you got to. I'm pretty sure like that library told the actual origins of the Earth, or of humans. I think.
So that poses another question. Do you think throughout human history there's actually been a point where humans were conscious of what the beginning of reality was?
I feel like yes, but not too far out there. You know what I mean? Like, not in the sense that you've got like the actual answers, but just more of that they had a very, very firm grasp for the fact that it's BC era. Like we would genuinely be impressed, if you know what I mean. I'm being very vague about it.
At first, I didn't understand what you're saying, but yeah, okay. So it's just the idea that they would be way ahead of what we would think they are, even though we know that library had some good stuff there. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with that too.
Also, I'm thinking Viking era, of course, would be awesome. I would be an actual Viking. Are you kidding me? That's a way to go out. If I'm going out one day, I want to go out as a Viking. That's the perfect way to go.
If I had to choose a warrior lifetime,
yeah,
and you had to go all in,
Viking.
Being a Viking's hardcore. Yeah,
straight up. I mean, England didn't even know what hit them.
No,
just those priests and monks in their monasteries. It was over. It was over as soon as those dragon boats hit the shore.
Assassin's Creed is totally guiding our conversation.
But outside of ancient history, anything modern that you would choose? Not like, doesn't have to be like within the 1900s modern, but you know what I mean. Anything after like 1200 is what I'm kind of considering quote unquote modern.
I gotta think about it, man. So yeah, my mind instantly goes to Greece. It goes to Rome. Just those being the peaks, like relative peaks of Western civilizations. But
yeah, the Roman Empire would actually be pretty cool because that was a massive empire.
Yeah, because like with Greece, with those peaks, you're just seeing so much. Kind of like how we're in a technological boom now. It's just like those are those relative booms.
Yeah, and
that would be an exciting time to live in. But thinking in like the relative. I know I would not want to be like that Victorian era, whatever years that weird European, like you know what I'm talking about?
I think that would be like the late 1800s, like mid to late 1800s of England.
Mid to late 1800s, probably 1700s. Like, they're just, that whole era, for whatever reason, I don't vibe with it.
It's very dirty.
It's like Gothic.
Yeah, Gothic, but I also think of it as very dirty because like when you think Victorian England was not a very sanitary place. England's not a sanitary place to begin with, but that's another topic.
It's crazy how far toilets have come in 100 years. Nobody talks about that, do they?
It's really true. We used to just literally throw our shit in the street.
Yeah, all
like
over
just
the street.
Outside the window. Fuck the kids who are playing street ball.
I know, man. Ugh.
But if I were to go something relatively modern, I'm kind of wanting to go prime time, like knights and castles.
Okay.
But I wouldn't want to be a knight. I wouldn't want to be a king. I wouldn't want to be like, obviously I wouldn't want to be a peasant. That fucking
I
sucks.
was about to say, what's left, dude? You're just gonna be a peasant.
No, I just want to be like an outlaw. I don't serve under one banner or one house or whatever. I just go out there and I take my money. Basically a mercenary, but like in...
Going full Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would do in that time period.
All right.
That would be fun.
That would be interesting. Yeah, living, that's got to be crazy, man. Your collective is within those walls.
Yeah.
Like there's a clear line, us versus them, and it's serious. It's life or death.
I mean, literally, like within the same country, like you'd be like just a couple of football fields of distance between another kingdom, and like those are y'all's rivals. Like those are the people that y'all are literally murdering each other over.
That's why people are probably so instinctually like into their sport teams in their geographic area, because the people who survived within the era had to be the most hardcore for their kingdom, or
that is true.
They would have died. Yeah,
basically just the kingdoms of England back in the day were just no different than high school football is now, especially around these parts.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's such a like fantastical, like mystical era, at least looking back on it and thinking.
I mean, that's like probably like the prime era of like when you think of dragons and things of that nature, you're thinking of knights, King Arthur, and that's all like I want to say the King Arthur legends are supposed to be like the 1200s, 1100s. I think that's when it's supposed to take place. I don't think it's before that because I think it's supposed to take, I don't know, I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, I don't have a good reference point.
So obviously the Arthur legends are supposed to be pretty old. They might be even older. They might be like even before when the Vikings came, but I don't know.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Knights and castles would be dope. Being a samurai would be cool.
Being a samurai would be okay. So that's a contender for the warrior lifetime.
Yeah.
If you just want to go and just be an absolute murderer and have just violent, like just destructive violence, you'd want to be a Viking. Yes. But if you want to understand what it means to be a warrior, like on a spiritual level, then you'd want to be a samurai.
Yeah, samurai is probably the most, from what I know, one of the most spiritual warrior aspects throughout human history. Like where they're really in tune with that part of the world and not just being, like, because when you think of samurai, you also think of someone who's very wise.
Yeah. So
not just hacking and slashing with their katana.
There's a lot of discipline and philosophy that goes into it,
and like actual fighting techniques. Whereas like Vikings are just swing my axe harder than the guy who's swinging his axe at me.
Yeah,
and block it with my shield and rip his head off.
Yeah, and we wonder why Asian kids make better grades. Just like
it's literally bred into their DNA since all of human history.
Yeah, insane discipline.
Definitely the most zen area of the world, and I don't know why.
What, Japan or like
just
Asia?
the Asian.
I mean, it comes back to the Buddhist, Taoist, and Confucius roots. Like those philosophical roots are very. And Zen itself is a branch of Buddhism, so it's all kind of bred within their culture.
Okay. Well, what would you pick if you had to choose something in the 1900s? What decade of American history would you want to go with?
I feel like the later you go, the better, right? If you go too early, you're going to be in the world wars. 1920s, you party a little bit in between.
20s were rocking. 20s were wild.
1950s.
A lot of Red Scare.
Yeah.
A lot of communist worry.
1980s, kind of the same.
Yeah, a little bit more. A little bit less of. Yeah, more of just.
So if I had to live in a decade, probably the 70s or 60s.
It's a good one. 70s is. I would want to be like a child in the 70s, so I could experience the 80s as like a teenager and young adult.
Yeah.
That's how I would want to do it. And then 90s, I'm a grown man.
Essentially what our parents did.
Yeah,
our parents' generation.
Pretty much what our parents did is how I would want to do it throughout American history. I feel like that's a good time to grow up and experience the world because that's pre-internet, so you're not having your head filled up with a bunch of bullshit from other people's opinions, like what we're doing.
Yeah.
And you just go out there and you make your own assumptions of the world. And you don't have anybody telling you what you should and shouldn't do in that regard. Obviously, you got to learn your manners.
You learn it the hard way. People hit you back then.
Yeah. But those were like times where like you and your best friend could just go off into the woods and you could be gone for days and your parents would just be like, he's late. They didn't care back then.
Yeah. I do. I feel like the time in which we were born and we've grown up is it's still a good time, but it's the absolute latest. Like, I feel like 5 to 10, if we were born 5 to 10 years later, you're just completely integrated from technology at the point of birth.
Yeah.
So then there's not going to be a strong individuation.
Yeah,
right?
because like I don't know when the actual year internet came out, but I want to guess maybe I was born before it really blew up at least.
I want to say 99. It was probably before then, but I feel like it was very late 90s, right?
When people got like actual public access to the internet, where it became more of a common thing. That was definitely after we were born. It's got to be.
Yeah, it was our childhood, like the 2000s, mid 2000s.
Because what I'm saying is like, I'm pretty sure like, I don't even think we had internet in our house until I was like 10, 11, 12. Like going into middle school was probably the first time we even had internet in our house.
Wow. We definitely had it when I was in elementary school, but it wasn't a thing that you used all that much.
Yeah, you'd be on it for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And like you got everything you needed to do done in 20 minutes. Now you
really, it was just loading for 20 minutes and you click your one button and then you're done.
Nowadays, people only spend 20 minutes not on the internet.
Yeah.
And that's only when they're in REM sleep. Because even in their sleep, people are on their goddamn phones.
Yeah.
But some other cool eras of human history would, honestly, going all the way back to the very beginning and being a part of like what we talked about in the very first episode, Mesopotamia and Sumerian and all that would be very fun and interesting to experience the very, very beginnings of civilization.
Yeah. As an observer, in retrospect, seeing all those different times would be awesome. I think living the further back you go, living the actualities.
Oh, of course,
would be
of course.
Like the further you
of
go
course.
back.
I know that. I'm not even thinking about that though.
Yeah,
like,
but you got to consider that if you're going to go back and live
I
in that
suppose
time.
I'm kind of going more of like if I'm going back to whatever part of human history I want, I'm bringing everything I need to survive.
So you're just teleporting there with your stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, that's different.
I'm not being born into that time period.
Okay, that's pretty different. Do you think that there was a civilization before all the civilizations we know of, and we evolved pretty far, and then it all fell down and kind of restarted?
Well, I mean that is what the theory of Atlantis is.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be shocked that. Okay, so let me back up a smidgen. I don't necessarily think that there was a civilization like Atlantis that has become like almost where they had technology that rivals what we have. Maybe not necessarily today, but like that we've had since like the 1800s or whatever. I don't think that's happened. But I definitely think there was a civilization that would have been close to probably what we had throughout the Middle Ages, which is still fairly advanced, that then sunk. That, between them sinking to like the Mesopotamia, it's like a massive jump back type. That's what I'm getting at. I think that probably happened.
Yeah, I feel like if there was a previous civilization that hit the Industrial Revolution,
I don't think it could have failed.
We would have found remnants of it. Yeah, we would have found a lot of stuff pointing towards that. And yeah, we wouldn't have failed. Maybe it was a long time ago and they went off in space and all their stuff dissolved or whatever.
The Earth is like almost 5 billion years old, so.
Yeah. So if that were the case, I'd probably there's all kinds of branches of evolving man. There's just that super superior version, maybe.
There could be. I mean, there was at one point in time like 20 different subspecies of human roaming the earth. I mean, who's to say there wasn't one that was higher than us? And they were just like, all these stupid monkeys. I'm going to leave them be while we go build our utopia.
Smart monkey thinks they're like the OG elitist.
I mean, that's what we essentially did.
Yeah.
Except for we kind of like murdered everybody, probably.
Yeah, that's how it happens, though.
Yeah.
But I agree. I don't know if Middle Ages I don't know if it made it that far, but I could see like a pretty decent evolution to the point where it kind of fell back and then
Do you think they would have had some form of like government, or it would have just been like a hierarchy of a king or a queen or whatever?
Ooh.
Because democracy came out kind of early in the timeline of civilization, if you think about it.
A written
civilization, yeah.
But the eras of monarchs in those civilizations, I don't know what the timeline is, but human civilization has probably been largely within that, and since things have been picking up, democracy initiated and whatnot. But
should we have a king?
No.
No? Okay.
I mean,
I wasn't talking about for America. I was talking about this podcast.
what?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean, we're a sovereign nation, right? Should we elect a king?
Let's have our viewers vote. All right. Do you? What's your qualifications?
We're electing a new king.
What's
or
your
queen. We're not sexist.
No. What's your qualifications? You're trying to run for king, bro.
No. I want to vote somebody outside of us. I want us to be like the council for the king.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Or we're like the news guys for the king. I want us to build a country just from this podcast, and we just elect all the other officials outside of our circle. It's an ambitious endeavor, but I think we could do it.
This is totally how the founding fathers did it.
Exactly. They just sat around, bullshitted with a microphone and a podcast. And they had
they broadcasted it all of colonial America.
Yeah. Isn't that what Paul Revere did?
Pulls out the microphone. to the backdrop with some metal music.
Dude, actually, colonial times could be pretty fun to live in.
Colonial America would be
pirates. I would want to live in the time of pirates. It would suck ass because it's so dirty. It's so much disease. You lose a toe and you're fucked. Like, that's how bad it is. You get one cut and you're screwed. You're going to die. But, oh, boy, that adrenaline of stealing a ship.
All right. Do you think the life of a pirate is filled with hope or filled with despair? Because I feel like it hits the drastic points of, man, we're searching for treasure. We're going on adventure. We're living, like, a real interesting life. On the other hand, it's like we're on a ship all the time and we're on the run. And like,
I think it starts with hope, very quickly goes to despair.
I feel like that's a common trend with human endeavors.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, but, like, only a couple, like, there was a lot of pirates that were active throughout the golden age of piracy, but there's only, like, 6 or 5, like, true captains who are actually known and are actually recorded about and talked about and studied. So I feel like it's more of just that the thrill of being a pirate and jumping on your ship for your first time is amazing, and that's where all the hope comes in. Like, this is going to be a better future for me. And then, like, you quickly realize, oh, this shit's hard.
Yeah.
And then that's when the despair kicks in. But those, like, first 15 minutes of adrenaline are got to be awesome.
Yeah.
When you see your first ship flying the British or the Spanish flag or whatever, and you're rolling up on it, and you just hear somebody call out, "Hoist the black flag!" Oh, buddy. Yeah. I am going to be locking and loading.
Oh, man. That's motivated. You know who they are, dude?
Nah, somebody's turning into my driveway. I don't recognize that vehicle
dude,
at
it
all.
Looks like the kind of car that take us hostage.
Yeah, they saw us recording and they were like, "Nope, can't fuck with these guys. They're wearing robes."
Yeah, we're intimidating.
We are. But now, I think final answer might be pirate.
Pirate's a bold choice, dude. Native American. Go complete tribal.
That would be pretty cool.
Native
American's probably got to be a very hardcore living area. It's living situation.
It's a it's a completely different feel because it's kind of outside of history. Like you're living with nature. Yeah. So I feel like it would be
like they're the Native Americans. I mean, not disrespect, or the modern day cavemen in a way. Like they don't have they were moving, they're roaming. It was a long time before they set up like actual camp places, like an actual village or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Because they always kept moving. That's what the whole point of the teepees were for. It's because you could put them up, take them down, put them up, take them down.
Yeah. I think.
And they had cave paintings, and they used spears, bows. More primitive compared to, by the time the Spanish came over, it was muskets and swords.
I think like the way to phrase it is they actively chose a nomadic lifestyle opposed to being cavemen. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying caveman like it's a slur. I'm just saying
it's a nomadic lifestyle.
They're just the modern day, which is an interesting thing that it's so far into human history, and that they were essentially doing almost the exact same thing that we were doing at the beginning of human history, with more advancements, of course.
Yeah.
But it's just I think that's actually fascinating. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, because opposed to like developing, like not our focus, but European focus was about essentially the development of technology and civilization at large, whereas the Native American focus was just more on like spiritual connection and your familial connection and living off the land and stuff. So just different intentions created vastly different results across time.
Yeah. Well, if we could make it as a Native American, I think that would probably answer our question if we could survive in the wild.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you can't, then there's your answer.
Yeah.
If you can't be a Native American, you cannot survive. I'm still going with pirates. Dude, Nassau would be, oof.
Yeah, that'd be a party.
That's literally a nonstop party. That's the whole point of what Nassau was just to be a port for these pirates. They can go and get the rocks off, so to speak.
Come on.
What's your final answer?
I'm thinking about it now.
Or do you have a final answer? You still more up in the air?
I'm more up in the air. I feel like we covered a lot of ground. And the tricky thing is, the further we get in history, there's just so many different cultures and countries that would be awesome to go and live in.
Yeah.
So it's hard to kind of narrow it down. But, Pirates is a good gig. Native American's interesting. Colonial.
Actually, I think I know a good one. I don't know if this even has come across your mind, but I think this would be a good one for you.
All right.
The Renaissance.
Ooh.
Hey.
Yeah, dude, you hit it on the head. How did we not think of the freaking Renaissance?
We were even talking about Assassin's Creed earlier.
We've literally only been hitting on Assassin's Creed cultures that are involved in those games. We didn't hit the Renaissance.
The biggest one.
Yeah.
No, the Renaissance would be dope. That's just, that's the era of just art and debauchery, however you pronounce that word.
Yeah, that's right up my alley.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Honestly, that's a great choice for those reasons, and it's another one of those spikes where it's interesting, things are changing. I feel obviously things wouldn't be as comfortable as they are now, but life would still be pretty balanced, pretty comfortable relative to a lot of different situations.
That's like 1500s, late 1400s, 1500s, Italy, Venice, Florence, more specifically, I think. But yeah, I think it wouldn't be too bad. Like, I mean, it's obviously still not super sanitary. There's still rampant disease and everything like that. But there's the plague doctors, so that's comforting. You see the guy with the big beak mask coming your way. You got him to look forward to.
Yeah.
All right, Pirates in the Renaissance.
Yeah, I will lock that one in.
All right. I think that's a good one. This was a good discussion.
Yeah.
I just wanted to this was my time travel episode. That's not really time travel that I was talking about before.
Okay.
It kind of deals with time travel because we're talking about history.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one, man. Thank you, Assassin's Creed, for our education on history.
Yeah. Yeah, I know high school didn't provide this this education.
Dude, what did we learn in high school?
Not a damn thing.